Hello, and have we got some crazy Bitcoin rumors and news for you, folks? A Bitcoin insider, a CEO of Jan 3, said that Bitcoin will reach not 100,000, not 200,000, but $1 million in 2024. This guy's an insider, he's CEO, but he thinks there's going to be a torrent of money coming in 2024 right after the ETF. And he says, get this, it'll reach $1 million, not for years, not for weeks, or not for months, but days to weeks. He thinks that big institutions like BlackRock are going to fly over Bitcoin and dump trillions of dollars. $1 million Bitcoin would be something like it'd be more than 18 trillion market cap. It'd be like $20 trillion market cap for Bitcoin. And that would bring the entire crypto market up, $40, $50 trillion, about half of the stock market. Maybe this is why the SEC is trying so hard to stop the Bitcoin ETF, folks, because $50 trillion market cap, that would take over the entire US economy and squash Gary Gensler like a bug. Yes, that might be it. I think this is fantasy land, and it's not actually going to happen, obviously. I would be surprised if it was like $100,000 within days or weeks. $1 million? Way, way too much out there. So he just thinks like this is like a trickle right now, and after the ETF, bam, it's going to get like a waterfall. But I think he's forgetting, or he just not realizing that some of the funds have already started to buy the Bitcoin for the ETF. BlackRock has said they're seeding, and I think a couple of the others have followed suit, obviously. Don't think it's all just going to come in all of a sudden right after the ETF, like this guy says. This guy has a very good imagination, but that's all it is, an imagination right now. Not that I wouldn't like $1 million, because that would make some of my altcoins go super, and probably make things like Snack and Bonk go just through the freaking roof. And I would be filthy rich for the rest of my life. I could just have peasants serving me all the time. Like, go get me some water. This banana is rotten. Go get me some fruit from the store. But that will not happen for me. It was not destined that way. So yeah, he actually thinks it's going to go like 20x immediately after the ETF. I think I don't know what he's smoking, but whatever it is, it's pretty good. So he's like, given that we're going to have billions and billions pouring in all at once on ETF approvals, I think it's going to be a much shorter time frame. Well, even BlackRock has said it's not going to be billions and billions all at once. It's going to be over 3 years. That still equates out to be about 100 million a day over 3 years. But you can see it's a slow general creep up, and not all of a sudden, bam, we got, $10 trillion coming in all at once. That's just not going to happen. The Qatar thing is kind of the same. They're probably going to edge in over 5 or 10 years, not all at once. So his $1 million is not going to happen. I think his math is a little bit off, or he's just not going with the reality of what's probably going to happen when the ETF is approved. But it's something fun to think about, because wouldn't it be cool if Bitcoin suddenly got to $1 million for no apparent reason? Well, it would be for a reason, but just not really going to happen, at least in my opinion right now. Wouldn't mind if it did, though. Definitely would not mind if it actually happened. I think that would benefit us all greatly, and we'd be just singing all day long if it went to $1 million. I don't even know if Bitcoin's ever going to reach $1 million, but if it can boost it up to $100,000 in the days or weeks, I think I'd be very satisfied with that. Wouldn't you? I think $100,000 by May next year, I think that would be great for us. I would think about selling then, honestly, especially if the altcoins have pumped a lot. But yeah, $1 million out of this world. But I hope he's right, even though I know he's wrong. Very, very sad. Well, we got to look at Vechain, and it's actually being integrated into Tangem Wallet. I think Tangem Wallet has gotten some noticeability ever since Ledger had that exploit about a day or two ago, where essentially people were like, oh, is it safe to use Ledger now? I think the answer is yes now, but I think they have lost some trust. I think Tangem sales has actually been up. And yeah, you can buy it on Amazon for like $42. If you're wondering, like, what wallet can you use? A lot of people are saying Tangem. They're going to integrate VET. So that's another reason if you're watching my channel, you would actually go with Tangem because, a lot of people on my channel do like VET. And if you need somewhere to store your VET, Tangem could be it. Gensler has denied Coinbase's rulemaking request, but Coinbase is not taking this sitting down. No, they are not. They are going to countersue the SEC, bring them to court, and try to wrestle them down, pin them to the mat, and submit them, just like Grayscale did. And Gary Gensler has a lot on his hands right now. That's right. I think Gary Gensler is going to lose again, and this will be his death knell to his legacy. So Coinbase's chief legal officer, Paul Grewal, said the commission's refusal amounted to an abdication of its duty. And they are going to point to where Gary Gensler is actually testifying to Congress, saying that, there are no rules right now that apply to cryptocurrency, while Gary Gensler now has made 180 in saying that the current rules do apply to cryptocurrency. So he's going to have to be battling himself, and I do not think Gary Gensler has the advantage here. So Coinbase intends to initiate legal action against the SEC, accusing the regulatory body of shirking its responsibility, according to the exchange's chief legal officer, Paul Grewal. The move follows the SEC's rejection of Coinbase's petition for establishing specific regulatory rules for cryptocurrency transactions. Obviously, we don't like that, a request that Coinbase has been pushing for since July 2022. So they did file something in 2022. The SEC took a year and a half and says hey, we're not making new rules. So they're taking what Gary Gensler said directly when he testified to Congress against him, and I think Gensler's going to have his hands full. Of course, he is very, very, there's a lot of disapproval with the SEC's decision, both by Coinbase and the entire crypto community. And the core of Coinbase's argument is the ambiguity and complexity of the current legal frameworks around cryptocurrencies. Grewal pointed out contradictions in the SEC's stance over time. So they haven't always agreed with themselves. There's dissension within the commission. And going with that dissension within the commission, we're going to point out that basically Hester Pierce and Mark Ueda released a joint statement criticizing the decision. They acknowledged the points made by Gensler, but suggested that issues raised in Coinbase's position deserved more consideration. The two commissioners proposed that exploration of these issues should include public roundtables, concept releases, and requests for comment to hear from a broad range of market participants and interested parties. The request for comments, realistically, I don't think that's ever changed anything at all. I've commented on several of those requests for comments. They get tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of comments, and it doesn't really move them to actually do anything. But I definitely think they need to start the rulemaking process and just not be happy with whatever the hell Gary Gensler says. The SEC provided 3 reasons for denial. It stated that the existing laws and regulations already apply to cryptos. A second, the commission stated that the timing for such rulemaking proposed by Coinbase was inappropriate as the SEC is currently soliciting comments and rules applicable to crypto. Lastly, it noted that the discretion of rulemaking lies within the agency itself, but it also needs to fulfill the needs of the public, which it's actually not doing right now. And as for the existing laws and regulations already applying to crypto, that's also not true, not in the least, because the SEC has not proved that cryptos are actually a security. In fact, the lawsuit right now rules that crypto is not really a security, at least not on the secondary market. So you do need rules and regulations. I personally think Gary Gensler and the SEC is just trying to buy time. They want to leave themselves wiggle room, and Coinbase is trying its hardest to actually close that wiggle room as soon as possible. They want to see the outcomes of the case. They want to be able to appeal without changing their true stance on cryptocurrency. Because if they actually changed their stance on cryptocurrency, they wouldn't really have much of an argument for an appeal or anything else. They're basically wanting to stick to their motto. Even though they're losing lawsuits, they want to be able to last it out until the last, basically last man standing. I think in 3 or 4 years, they're going to be at that point, but we want it to get to that point way before those 3 or 4 years. So hopefully, they are, Coinbase can actually push them with this legal decision. There's going to be more than 2 commissioners that dissent with Gary Gensler. Remember, the commission's 5 commissioners. If there's a majority, he kind of has to change his opinion. I think Gensler sees that things are rolling against him, and there's really not much he can actually do right now. And I think he's just trying to kind of like stretch this out as long as possible. And things are actually kind of like caving in on him right now. He's running out of allies and enemies are actually mounting up. And he's just trying to basically save his own reputation, basically by dragging out this crypto thing probably until after his term. Remember, Gensler actually has his eyes set on Secretary of Treasury, and he actually wants to have his like hard stance against cryptocurrencies, hard stance enforcer model with him, so he actually has a better chance of getting that job. But it's all kind of falling apart right now, and he's just trying to delay so he can actually keep kind of that image about himself. But it's really not him right now, and things are falling apart from the inside as well as the outside. And of course, like they just want to maintain the SEC's power, which they're not doing very well right now. Arbitrum, in its attempt to pull off the best imitation of Solana, went down for about 2 hours today. They did get it back up, but it better not have any more downtime. They have a lot of TVL, and you just can't go down randomly at times like this, but they did get it back up. It wasn't for very long. So hopefully they'll learn a lesson and not go down anymore. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.